We've been asked by a number of people to do an interior photo shoot of our 2022 43-foot New Horizons Majestic. So I'm going to do a quick walkthrough of it, and anybody that sees us has questions can certainly contact us, and we'd be happy to answer them. This is our fourth New Horizons. All have been Majestics. We had a 2009, we had a 2012, a 2015, and then this one, which is 2022. So let's start at the door. This is a 30-inch door, but the actual opening, if you count the edges of it, is a little under 29 inches. So you'll notice on this door that these windows now have covers on them that you can pull down. You have to open the screen door to do it, of course, but it's better than nothing. This door is pretty good. It seals pretty good, unlike some of the others we've had. And you'll notice that in here we did a dark wood. So I'll talk about that a little bit more as we get into this. So when you come in, you have a shoe garage here, and it's quite deep because this closet, this entrance closet, is a full depth closet. So you'll notice that the coats hang straight up and down off a curtain rod. And we did this because we didn't want to store our coats and stuff in the main closet in the bedroom. So this moves all of our jackets down here into this area. And it makes for a deep shoe garage down at the bottom, of course. And then our load centers are here. And the instrumentation is right up here. Here's our heaters for our tanks, 120 volt, 12 volt tank heaters, progressive display, and the Winegard antenna, over the air antenna, which we don't use at all. Now this rig does not have a satellite TV antenna on it, but it is prepped for a satellite TV antenna. We only stream music. And of course, up here in the unreachable space is lots of storage. Normally I put routers and things like that up there, communications equipment. I don't have any communications equipment right now, and the reason for that is we either stream off of cellular or we have one of the Skylinks. So as I said, we did a dark layout in this rig, but the only reason that works well and doesn't look too dark is because we have really light gray floors, stainless steel refrigerator, of course, and then white countertops. There's actually a little bit of pattern in this. You can't see it on the camera, but that's what makes this work. We thought about doing white cabinets, and that's where we started out. But after we thought about it for a while, and during the design process, going in and out of lots of rigs, which we had been doing, I was, mostly me, I was afraid that white we would grow tired of. It would be harder to maintain. And, you know, after 4 or 5 years, we wouldn't like it. So we decided to do this dark. I did not want brown, tired of brown. We've been full-time RVers for 22 years. Every rig we've had, except for the first one, has been a brown interior, and we just didn't want to do brown again. So this actually worked out pretty good. You know, it's a matter of taste. Some people would hate it. Some people would like it. It's a very dark, almost black chocolate color. Actually, on the camera, it's showing up a little bit more brown than it actually looks to your eye. And you'll notice that this is a mission-style cabinet. Now, one of the things people say about mission-style cabinets is they don't like the fact that dust can collect here. So what some people do is they put a piece of trim here, a round over, and they think that helps. I don't think it helps at all, because dust is going to collect on that rounded surface as well as on this. And really, we haven't had much problem with dust collection on these. A feather duster in 10 minutes, you can do this whole rig. 15 if you're really doing it slow and doing it well. So really it hasn't been a dust issue at all for us. And of course this is a contemporary layout. You know, we have these contemporary handles. So it works for us. It might not work for everybody. This island here is very, very large. It's 80 inches long. It's much larger than what you would typically see. And this kitchen is much larger than you would typically see. So the layout really works well for us. It's a great kitchen to work in. Somebody can be standing in between here working, and somebody can be over here working. So it really, really works well. The windows over there are great. We did not put a window behind the TV. You notice the entertainment center they've got the TV permanently mounted, and that is because on every TV lift we've had problems. So I'm done with TV lifts. We tried to make this rig simpler so we'd have less issues. We had a very pushed technology rig with our 2015, and the more technology you have, the more problems you have. So this one we tried to make as simple as we could and still get what we wanted. So just a sound bar, no surround sound. I have not found surround sound to be all that effective in an RV. You just can't place the speakers where you want them. And these new sound bars are really quite good. This has a wireless subwoofer that I have in here and works quite well. No wires to run. You just have to plug it in. And there's outlets inside these cabinets. So these are fixed cabinets, permanently mounted. My original intent was to put a dehumidifier into this cabinet, but it doesn't have enough airflow to support a dehumidifier. So now it's just a place for our bear to sit. There's really nothing in this cabinet at the moment. Maybe some pillows. So this is residential love seat that we sized specifically to fit between those cabinets. And of course we have the overhead up here. These overheads are pretty deep and pretty tall. They're pretty tall. So you can get a lot in them. We have books up there and other junk that you accumulate. I didn't put a shelf in it because I knew what we were going to do with it, but you could put a shelf in it. It might be a little more useful. Files, papers. Trying to get rid of those and just go digital, but no matter what you do, it seems like you always have something. Of course, we have MCD powered shades. The sun shades, which are down in the back, this is the daytime shade. That's manual throughout. Contemporary lighting. And let's talk about the theater seating. This is Lambrite furniture. We've done most of the common residential furniture in our various rigs. Lazy Boy is what we particularly liked, and it worked quite well. But I will tell you that this Lambrite furniture is way better than Lazy Boy. A couple of things I like. This is ultra leather, and they make various styles. This is the style we chose. It's a little more contemporary. They make a headrest that is here that actually is powered and folds forward. And if I was to do this again, I'd get that because it supports your head a little better when you're laid back. This will go almost flat. It's a true wall hugger. You can see how close I have it to the wall, and it does not hit the wall at all. It's powered. You can get the manual. You have storage down here, and you have an armrest here with USB ports. USB ports here. We don't use them. And then some cup holders we keep remote controls in. We have a little desk area that we did. There's a printer down here below and file cabinets. Just a little, it's not really a desk, it's just more of a credenza area. And then more space up here for files. Danielle likes files. So useful storage, works quite good. And down here, we have a printer on the bottom, pull-out shelf, and files here in the middle. Pull out shelf. So easy to get to. I think we use the printer like twice a year. So it's kind of a waste of space. You'll notice we have a pop-up outlet here. I would not do that again. I thought it was a good idea. I was wrong. It's just a waste of space. What I would do is put an outlet in this wall here. There is an outlet up here in this wall. So there's power run through here. So it'd be easy to do, and I could have that done if I wanted to. But since I have this here, no sense changing it. So notice this is a continuous piece of countertop that goes between them. That was actually Cole or Danielle's idea. I think it was Cole's. It looks very good, kind of integrates them, makes it look more like furniture. So we think that's a good idea, and we would do that again. So this table pulls out. You just slide it out. If I can grab it, pick it up and pull it out. It is out right now. So you can sit another person on here. It's not really a 4-person table. It would be very tight for 4. We don't worry about it because it's just the 2 of us. If we have somebody else over and we're not eating outside, we can put somebody across here, or they could sit on the furniture. One thing we did, we usually watch the news while we eat, so we have a small TV here, and that comes in handy. As is typical of New Horizons, all the power is run in the corners, so that's nice. So let's talk about the shades. We just have valances at the top. We have no lambrequins. You can see back here on this one that's up. Just because this is a contemporary layout, lambrequins don't really work out well. This is a similar leather or vinyl as these. It looks almost identical, so it works well. There are light panels around for the Firefly. We never use this one, ever. I don't think they've ever been pushed except for to test them. There is nothing over here if you have lighting on in there, which I do right now just to show you. There's no switches in here, so that's not exactly convenient. Down here we have more files. These all slide out. These all pull out. Smaller fireplace than we're used to. It works quite good, and it works, it's set up well in there. So a lot of people use this area as a pantry. We use it more as a coffee bar and, just storage of stuff. We have coffee stuff in there and some appliances up there, rice cooker. But what we did down here in this one, this was 2 doors when we designed it. It didn't work well because if this door was open, you couldn't walk through to the kitchen area. So what we did was bonded these together. Same doors, they're just bonded together. And now it works great. And we use this for a coffee area and toaster. And this slides out. So if you're working in the kitchen, you can make coffee. You can walk through here easy if you're doing something because you just slide it in and get through. So that has worked out well. We would do that again. These are all just drawers down here. They're all the same, just kitchen stuff. Soft touch, and the soft touch works good. In travel, if you have heavy stuff in one of these drawers, in a soft touch drawer, you might want to put some supplemental security devices on it, because the heavy ones do tend to come open a little during travel. We haven't had any problem with these. None of them have really heavy stuff in them. this is all kitchen stuff through here, and here's something that we wouldn't do again. You'll notice that these are really deep and they can hold a lot of stuff. And they are on slides, but they're hard to get into. And we would do just drawers in the kitchen. I recommend everybody does just drawers in a kitchen. Make them as big as you want, but they're so much easier to access things in. Even the big pots and stuff. You lose a little space, it's true, and that's what motivated Danielle at the time to say, no, I want the sliding shelves. But it's fine for her because she's so small, but I'm big. I'm 6'2", 240 pounds, and I can't get in here. There's just not enough room with these doors open to easily get in there and access it. Danielle has no trouble at all. She's like tiny in there, but it doesn't work for me well. I can do it, but it doesn't work well. So make these all drawers through here. This side is identical. Same stuff under there. We keep our dishes all up here. Different people do it different ways, but this works well for us. We don't have a lot of dishes. Now, these are not any kind of break-proof dish. They're just pretty simple, interesting design dishes made out of some sort of china or something. And they can break, so when we travel, we do put dividers in it. You can see one here. But when we're just sitting, we take them out. So that's something extra to do, but to get the dishes we wanted, that's what we had to do. The cooktop is gas. We've done the induction. We don't like the induction, so that's a gas cooktop. It's gas on glass. That's a glass countertop, cooktop. It's kind of sealed, so it's easy to keep clean. This microwave is a Whirlpool microwave. It's a really nice convection microwave. It works really well, and it cooks much faster than other convection microwaves we had that were operating on 120 volts. Now, this is a 240 volt rig, and had I thought of it at the time, I would have put a 240 volt microwave in. That does limit you to 50 amp service though. So, but with a battery supplement system with your inverters, they call them hybrid inverters. If you have one of those, you can pull off your batteries to make up to 50 amps. So it is possible to wire up that way, and I probably would have done that since I have to have 50 amp for other things, which we'll get to. This is a Whirlpool refrigerator. Stainless steel, fingerprint proof, they say. Everybody says that. This one actually is. You will rarely see a smudge or a fingerprint on it. It's pretty amazing. It does work quite well. We like the side-by-side because it gives us way more storage for freezer than, the French door ones look great, but you just don't get much freezer space to them, or at least not as much as this one gives you, and it's harder to access it. This one, I don't have much in here right now, but this one you can get, different shelves doing different things. So one of the things we did different, and this was Danielle's design, was over here next to the steps. This is our pantry, this side. This is a utility closet, this side, for brooms and mops and stuff like that. So you can see what that looks like. And there's enough pantry space there, more than enough. We really like having the utility closet section. And then up here, we just have storage. We have some of our freeze-dried long-term food up there. Just junk down here. And more long-term food storage. Now, obviously, you saw we weren't using up here. And we probably won't for communication stuff. The Starlink really works well for us, and then we have a couple of cellular modems, hotspots. So let's take a look at the steps. So 4 steps. Air returns are here underneath them. You get a lot of cold air if you're not careful in the winter coming through that. I don't know how you resolve that because you have to have cold air return. There are lights on each step. It really lights up nice at night. I put these on. They do not come with it, and you just about have to have them because at least on this wood, if you're in stocking feet, you got to be careful. You could slide right off those steps if you hit the edge of them. But with those pads on them, those pads don't move at all. You can step on them. They're not glued down or anything. They're just sitting on a rubberized back, and they work really well. The handle is just about necessary. You know, you're going to fall down steps sometime if you don't have a handle. You just got to be careful. So let's take, one thing. This up here. It's kind of wasted space. We have a couple fake plants up there, which I hate. But, you know, maybe we'll put something else up there. We have some glass art that we might put up there. You really can't do much with that space above the refrigerator. I suppose you could set it up to store shallow things in, put doors on it. But because it's above the edge of the slide, right, there's no depth to it. It's only about 4.5 inches or so. It would hold cans, but I don't like cans or anything heavy that high up, so I wouldn't use it for that. So that's an overview of the living area. One thing about these lights, obviously they're kind of a contemporary, industrial, almost like look. Same thing with where they're attached up here. It's very simple. We don't like elaborate things. You know, this contemporary look doesn't really do well with elaborate things. Same thing with over the dining area. Very simple industrial style lamp. And the trim around the slides is more of the mission style. Extremely simple. Easy to keep clean. You know, feather duster right down it. If there is any dust on it, gets it every time. That's for dog leash. And just something about the trim here. If you look at the trim down here, you know, it's dark too, and it's got a top edge on it. But it's really not that hard to keep clean. Not as hard as you would think. Now, one thing we did with this floor, we wanted a wood floor. We couldn't find a really light wood floor that wasn't exorbitantly expensive. So we put this vinyl plank down. It looks quite good, and really it adds a lot to the environment. I have my doubts about how long it will hold up. You know, vinyl plank in RVs tends to work loose, you know, where it's joined, because it's glued. This type is glued down. It's not floating. And one thing you do when you do this, and you have to consider this, and what we wanted was to have no carpet in the slide. But we couldn't do that with this type of material because it's too thin. There's no way to really set it up so that you can get a bull nose or something along the edge here. Nobody's ever figured out a good way to do that. I've looked around online, talked to other manufacturers. Nobody really is tackling that at the moment. So we ended up with carpet in there. It's kind of a brownish gray carpet. So it looks a little more brown on the camera, but it works. It hasn't been a problem because this is the only place it is in the entire rig. But this vinyl plank, really, you wouldn't want a dark floor in here. You would have to have a light floor or it'd just be too dark in here all the time. Now I have the sunshades down just for filming. So, you know, it's a little darker in here than normal. So let's go upstairs and take a look at what we did upstairs. It's a little bit different than what you might be used to seeing. So when you go upstairs, you go right into the bedroom. So we have the bathroom at the very rear, kind of like a DRV Houston does, but it's a different layout, a little bit more usable than a Houston. We do not have a slide on this side, on the passenger side in the bedroom. We don't feel it's required. There's plenty of room in here to walk past, and really you lose too much space both on the sides and the top if you have a slide there. So we prefer this layout. And this layout is the same layout we've had in every one of our New Horizons. It's never varied. The width might vary based on the size of the bedroom, but we like this layout. We have drawers down here, and that's inset a little for the bed to go under when it comes in. And then we have either wardrobes or shelves up here. And in this case, it's set up as shelves. This is Danielle's side. She doesn't have very much, does she? That's because she's in the motorhome in Colorado for the moment. So she took most of her clothes with her. She's coming back next week. Firefly control up here. Main firefly control here. So let's talk about that firefly control here. See, it's in the staircase. There's really no place to put it downstairs. There's just no wall space for it. So they put it here. At first, I really didn't care for it there because you kind of have to lean over the steps to do it. But I guess like anything, you get used to it. Now I don't mind it there. I don't know where else I'd put it. You don't want it behind a door. So you wouldn't want to put it in, in the wardrobe in the front, in the coat closet. And then this is the firefly control for all the upstairs. Same decor up here, same cabinet style. We think we're pretty happy with this. Came out pretty good. We do not have a TV in this rig in the bedroom. We never watch TV in the bedroom, ever. It is prepped for it. So in here is all the stuff you need for a TV. And then, of course, these top cabinets pop up. We keep hats up here. Plenty of space up there. That's usually where the TV kind of goes down. Both sides are kind of a mirror image. I have the same thing on this side for my stuff. Yes, I get the same amount of space as Danielle. So the bed, we put padded leather or vinyl type padding back there. It really worked out good. You'll see some other New Horizons where that whole area is covered with it, wall to wall and floor to ceiling, and you might not have cabinets at the top. We prefer the cabinets for storage. We don't put display areas up there. We think it just gets dirty and dusty. We don't keep stuff out. This is pretty much how the rig is all the time. We don't generally have any clutter out, so it's easy for us to move from place to place when we do. These side tables come far enough forward to be useful, but they're not the type that wrap around. You'll see another style that comes out here and then wraps over to the side here. That looks and comes, to the side of this trim. That looks really nice, gives you a little bit more space on top. The problem with that is that this depth in here is already so deep that if you bring it out more, you have to sit down on the bed and kind of crawl up in the bed. Your butt is not where it's supposed to be. Your butt's going to be up here. So that's why we don't have that. Same type of window treatment up here. There's no shelves in these. It's just open storage. So here's where it gets a little bit different. So we do not have the typical closet across the front of the rig. We didn't want that. We have as much closet as that gives you with, we'll get back into the bathroom in a minute, with this closet. So if you count the rod space in here, this is my stuff at the bottom. Most of Danielle's, all of Danielle's stuff is gone. If you count the rod space in here, it's 6 inches less than would be in the Ford normal closet in a rig. And if you add what we have down in the coat closet down here, we have more storage space, rod space, than you would in a normal layout RV. So we wanted the bathroom like this. This gives us a really good storage area. And that is very deep. I think it's 38 inches deep. It goes way back in there. So lots of storage space for stuff. You know, obviously we store a lot of things in there, and we keep our hamper in there for the washer dryer. This shower is 32 inches wide, actually 30 inside, and 4 feet long, 48 inches long. It's a really nice space. Now, in our 2015, we had a shower that was 36 inches this width. It was unnecessary space because you're standing facing, you know, the water. And so you don't need that width in there. So this works just fine. So we used that extra space to get a larger vanity. And we put a kind of interesting sink in here. Danielle wanted something different that made a statement because you see this sink from down below. If you come into here and you look up here, which everybody does, they see this fairly interesting sink here. And that was the intention. And then, of course, all glass, all mirror here, regular kind of layout. And same thing here. More medicine cabinet space. It's really good storage. The extra width that we have in here by laying out this way gave us a lot of extra storage. So that worked out very well. And drawers down here and just storage space under the sink. We originally did not have a window up here, but we added one at the last minute. And do we use it a lot? No, the shade's down most of the times, but you can have it if you want it. And we have a macerating toilet because you don't have a drop under here. It's up in the overhang. So you need the macerating toilet, which we actually like the macerating toilet. It makes waste management, dumping and stuff much easier. It's easier to pump it far if you want to without another macerator. It'll just flow as long as you have gravity working for you. So we actually like that. It's not as good for boondocking. Obviously, it uses more water, so you have to manage that aspect carefully. And another cabinet up here for storage. So, and then roof vent here in the bathroom, of course. And then another roof vent in the kitchen. Right there. So you really want those, both of them. So let's talk about air conditioning. So I am standing right now underneath the mini split. This rig has mini split air conditioners, and there it is right there. So this is a 9,000 BTU unit. It does the bedroom and the bathroom. I'm literally underneath it and it's running. You really hear virtually nothing. And it will get the bathroom cool. We keep the door open in the bathroom normally. I mean, unless we're there taking a shower or something. But it'll cool this area, but I will tell you it's not as effective as if you had a vent in here, you know, with a conventional air conditioning system with a duct. This is a ductless system. It's direct vent, but it works quite well. Very, very quiet, very, very efficient. You can run it off of batteries. If you want to set up an inverter battery system for it, you can run it off of batteries. We really, really like it on balance. One of the negatives of mini splits is they are not quite as effective as a regular air conditioner on dehumidification. They do an okay job, but if you're in a really humid environment, you want to give it a little help. We have a dehumidifier here that we use to help the mini splits out, but really even without it, it's fine. This is a 12,000 BTU version here. Again, it's running right now. It's pretty warm out. Well, actually, it's not that warm today. Right now, it's 88. So, there you have it. Dark layout. It's what we wanted to do. I think it works because of the extra white that we put in it. You'd have to be careful about that. But again, it's a matter of taste. This was intended to be more of a contemporary layout, so it probably works well with that. And there it is. 2022 New Horizons Majestic, 43 feet. It's actually just a touch under 43, so it's rounded up to 43. One additional thing about this RV that I mentioned but didn't go into. I mentioned that it's a 240 volt RV, and it's 240 volt setup because the mini split requires 240 volts. The ODU, the outside unit, is 240 volt unit. So you have to set the system up for 240 volts. And in fact, we have a commercial propane 240 volt generator. So that we can run the mini split on genset. So that allowed us to, or caused us to put in a washer dryer that's a 240 volt dryer. So this is an LG combo unit. Dryer on top, full size. These are residential units, 27 inches wide, front load washer. And I will say that I didn't think that I would care about this, but this is so much better than anything else we've had in an RV. And we've had washer dryer in almost every rig. And you can make the case that, well, you're just sitting around, so it doesn't matter, that it takes a little bit longer on 120 volts to dry your clothes. But once you go back to a residential unit, you'll never want anything else. As I said, it does require 240 volts, and it is wider, so you have to size your door openings for that, and we did. So that washer dryer can come out. You'll notice that this opening here looks a little bit wider than in some rigs, and it's sized to get the washer dryer out. So that is something I forgot to mention. It's not a problem, but you do have to have either supplemental power through a hybrid inverter or stick to 50 amps, because if you go on a 30 amp pedestal, you're not going to be able to run your air conditioner, not without running your generator. So keep that in mind as you're making a decision about what type of setup you want. But you can set up your power system so that automatically battery power is used to run this stuff. But you're going to have a very large battery bank in order to do that. So again, trade-offs. Everything's about trade-offs.